guys help me give a warm round of applause to Sean and Tylene Wilmer as they come to the stage and share their
Thank you. Hello, hello. Hey, don't go far. You'll leave the camera. We have all these beautiful people over here.
You're so beautiful. They just want to see you.
No, here, right here in this camera. Don't go far.
I don't know. This microphone's going to pull my pants down right now. It's in my pocket. Tim talks about getting weird.
Yeah, he has a size, what, 29 waist now?
Wow.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. So listen.
Yeah, so if he forgets his pants, he can just borrow mine.
She says that because that really happened, right? I don't know where I was. This was many years ago, about 8-9 years ago. I was traveling somewhere, and you weren't with me that trip.
No.
And I accidentally packed Tylene's pants. Were not my pants.
For real.
Yeah, it was kind of goofy, man, but it worked. It worked out. First of all, I'm just blown away right now. I'm blown away from listening to all of that. That was so cool to me that I'm a big believer in being transparent and being authentic and being genuine and being real and just being who you are and not scripting anything. Every time we speak, we've been doing this for 20 years. We have nothing scripted. We have no slides.
That's obvious.
Okay. But that just blew my mind. You guys, that was so awesome to hear from all of you. That is just so cool. But I do want to say, whatever that power thing is getting pregnant, don't do that.
No, I'm not doing that.
We're not allowed to use that. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got here. And then
Can you guys hear him good? Because I sound really loud. He kind of needs the mic. And he's a quiet guy, and I'm a loud girl. We should have switched. We might have to share. Then I won't talk over you.
That never happened. Yeah, let's turn this one off.
Yeah, that's not working out.
Now my pants won't fall down.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, here's the deal. Mindset, everyone here has been talking about mindset. In order to hear what we're going to share with you today, it's all right here. I became a true believer in mindset when I was about 15 or 16 years old. I went to this private setting. I was into sports. They picked one athlete from all different sports. And I was taught that day some really interesting information about how to look at things differently, how to visualize, how to manifest, how to create. And then I don't know if you guys are, if you're as old as me, you remember the book, The Secret. It was some of those people were there teaching us. And it changed my life forever. And so what I really would ask you is what we share with you today, in order for you to hear us, it's very, very simple. You have to allow yourself to receive the information and let it maybe resonate with you. That doesn't mean everything we say is going to resonate with you.
But the truth will.
But the truth
always resonates.
The truth will. Use your East Coast voice, baby. You don't need a mic. So we go way, way back. Our story starts when I met Tylene. I was a head high school football coach out in Arizona. I had real bad pain in my hands. I won't go into that because we're never allowed to legally say anything, even though it started with an A and ended with itis. But that's what I was struggling with. And when I went to see Tylene, I knew she had worked with some athletes. I didn't really understand. The night I met her, she said she wanted to save the world. I didn't understand that either. Obviously, I do now. But when I went to see her, we kind of went back and forth. We argued a little bit because I was already seeing these doctors in Scottsdale and Phoenix, Arizona, these specialists. And they were telling me things that I didn't want to get involved in. I didn't want to get on medication. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have surgery. I didn't believe in that. I had lost a sister to a surgery, basic surgery and wrong anesthesia, and she passed. So I wasn't into that. And when I went to see Tylene, we were talking about what I was dealing with health-wise, and I thought I was pretty healthy. I'd already, lost my mom to colon cancer my senior year in high school, so I was always trying to do better. And I was juicing and doing different things. And then Tylene starts teaching me about plant enzymes. So imagine 20 years ago hearing plant enzymes or stabilized probiotics or whole food supplementing or plant-based or raw, these types of words that I really had never really thought about. And we argued a little bit because I told her what my health issue was that I had, that one that starts with an A. And she said, no, you don't have that. I'm like, what? Yes, I do. And we kind of argued, like, don't tell me. I've got these doctors telling me what I have. And so finally I just said, well, what do I have then, smarty pants? And she said, look, your body, Sean, has lost the ability when you eat protein that's dead, heated, cooked, processed, could be a chicken breast, could be a protein bar. Your body doesn't break it down completely to an amino acid. In your body, Sean, it stays as uric acid. And that's where your pain is coming from. And they have to create a disease so they can create a drug. Okay? 4 or 5 days later, driving my car, Phoenix, Arizona, picked up my brick phone, really aging myself right now. Those things were heavy, man. And I remember calling Tylene saying, look, I don't know who you are, blah, blah, blah. You're not a doctor, you teach doctors. I don't really care. I have no pain in my hands. What is the deal? And is my pain gonna come back? Yes or no? That's all I wanna know. I'll do whatever you say. What's going on? I don't want any more pain in my hands. And she says,
Yes, it's coming back if you don't listen to me.
yes. So I went and saw her, and basically what happened was I said, listen, here's what happened. I have no pain, blah, blah, blah. And acid reflux, I'm not experiencing that. That runs in my family. I haven't had that all week. I've had no indigestion, and I forgot that I have abs, and I'm starting to see my abs again. This is super cool. And so that just led us to more conversations over the next, I'd say, about 3 years. And it was really about, I remember saying to Tylene after that first week, how come everyone doesn't know this? I go, I don't get it. And why are you so smart? And blah, blah, blah. And, she said, Sean, this research is from the 1930s. It's just one of those things they've pushed off into a corner. And I would call her all the time because I was coaching kids and I had a bunch of kids. I'm like, what about this? Can I eat that? Or can I do that? Or this guy's injured. What do I do? And blah, blah, blah. And sooner or later, I think we got together and I said, look, why don't you help educate people with me? And so we did. And we had no business plan. We had no business model. It wasn't about product to us at all. That's not what this was. And so we started educating. Ty had a couple products, we created some products, mostly doctors. We were really a therapeutic, healthy lifestyle doctor line. And then that spread into more and more people, a lot of athletes, which I thought was super cool. We started getting, NFL and NBA players and baseball and soccer and hockey and NCAA and Olympic athletes. I'm just like, man, I'm a sports guy. I'm like, wow, this is super cool. And she's like, whatever, who cares? I'm like, I care. You should care. We weren't soliciting these people. We weren't a network marketing company. Word just traveled fast. And so that's really how this whole thing started. And then Steve Nash, the basketball guy from the Phoenix Suns, Canadian, really into health, 2-time MVP of the NBA at that time. He called us, this business manager actually called us and said, we want to talk. And we went and met with Steve at his home. And I'm like, this is awesome, right? And she's like, who's Steve Nash? I'm like, he's on every billboard in Phoenix, every TV commercial. Like, he's the 4th highest paid spokesperson in the country right now. And I said, so behave when we get there. But she did not. We sat at his table in his kitchen, and he's drinking out of a cup.
With his face on.
With with his face on it. So she has to give him a hard time about that. So now Steve Nash is apologizing to Tylene for drinking out of his own cup. And then she goes on to say, so, Steve, did you watch my videos? And he's like, no, Tylene, I haven't watched those yet. And, well, why not? I had to watch your videos. And I'm stepping, this is true, you guys. I'm not making this up. I'm stepping on her foot, kicking her, like, knock it off right now. But he took us to a whole nother place. He goes, I just think I can help Tylene save the world quicker.
I said, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, you're a little, yeah, his brand was kind of big. Anyway, so he asked if he could be our partner. We didn't know why we were meeting with him. We thought maybe he wanted to make a sports line. And he starts telling us, you know how many nutrition companies and supplement companies come to me offering me a lot of money? And I'm like, man, we don't have any money. We can't pay you, bro. We think you're awesome, but love to have you. He goes, well, I'm already using 6 or 7 of the things that you guys market. I'm like, that's cool. And so he came on board, he partnered with us, and we had a retail brand. It was doctors, and it went into retail, health food stores and Whole Foods and that kind of stuff. And one big problem. Super neat seeing these purchase orders of $500,000, you know, all these things, but bottles don't talk. Bottles don't do this. They don't share information. And so we're back to where our journey has been. You talk about the roller coaster Greg had up there. Life is a roller coaster. And we've been up, down, and all around. We've been bruised, battered. We have been beat down like you've never seen. We've been laughed at because what we were teaching, no one was teaching for the most part. We've been teaching gut health for the last 20 years. And people said, you guys are weirdos. You're hippies, you're this, you're that. And now people are seeking what we know. Because what we know is that most of our immune system is in the gut. We've always known that. And everything goes back to the gut. Everything. Everything goes back to your gut, period. And people don't know that. And we're going to share that with you today. And we now are in a position of just doing this. This is what we feel our calling is. We're grateful for Valentis. We're grateful for Greg, who was sharing enzymes. We're grateful for John, who shared some time with us, and we just got to know each other a little bit. There's just so many people that it's weird. You know, we always say, is it odd or is it God? How did this happen? I don't know. We weren't seeking anything, as some of you have said. We didn't know what we were going to be doing next. But we are just grateful. We came in from San Diego. We have a ranch out there now. We bought about 1.5 years ago. We took our cat, Betty the cat. Now Betty has about 180 friends out there.
She's not very happy.
And she's not real happy. Every once in a while I do an animal count. I'm like, what the heck am I doing with all these animals? What did Tylene do to me? So it's a great place. It's a magical place, and Loomerland. Oh my goodness! But combined, we have 6 children. We have 8 grandchildren. Number 9 on the way, and we're busy. Like a lot of you are busy, but we can't stop what we're doing. No one will stop us from what we're doing. No one. We have to do what we do. We have to share what's going on now more than ever. It has never been more relevant and important. The best thing about this weirdness that's gone on is people are a lot more open to their health. And from the business perspective, obviously you couldn't be in a better place. People are looking for other ways of generating revenue from their homes. So I'm going to hand it to you, but I'm going to stay up here in case she goes rogue somewhere. If she just starts going somewhere, everyone just yell out, squirrel, and then she'll oh yeah, we bring it back down here. What I love about Tylene, and I'm so grateful for her, she obviously not only changed my life, but tens and tens of thousands of people have benefited from what I'm going to say information for the most part. Yeah, products are can be part of that, but without understanding what's going on, you got to keep it simple, you guys. Don't try to know too much. She knows so much. She's super humble. She's that 2 to 8 hour researcher every day. Goofy. I only know what I know because I have to. I have no choice. I live it with her. Every day it's something weirder. You know, what are we going to eat this week? You know, dirt. She has offered dirt to me. Yeah, it's a good idea. So we'll go back and forth a little bit, but just do what you do and talk about whatever you want to talk about, and we'll go from there. Look out. And now I'm warning you, hashtag.
Give me this. You want to do the pudding demo? Yes, you do. Okay, so I've been passionate about nutrition in general, probably since college, I guess, so maybe since I was like 18. I did a speech class, and I just wanted something riveting to talk about that I would get me an A, really. And I read a book back then that just kind of opened my mind to everything that kind of goes on in the world and our impact on the world and just different things. And it had a ton to do with food and a bunch of stuff. I won't get into it, but it made me realize, because I grew up in a small town, what else don't I know? And that was the thing. And it was like that light bulb goes on where you read something or see something or someone shares something with you that you realize whatever you might have been taught may be completely wrong. And so I was living a diet growing up of the most disgusting food, looking back on it. But when parents are trying to feed their kids and they don't have a lot of money, you're eating pancakes. And to make those pancakes exciting, you're wrapping them around a hot dog. And you're having Spam sandwiches and whatever is inexpensive. And you're eating a lot of cheese and you're eating a lot of pasta and breads and things like that. And Sean probably knows this too, because he was the youngest of 8. He was probably lucky to ever get food. But in order to supply for your family, you tend to grab what's cheap a lot of times. And we don't know what we don't know. And so as I read this book, being kind of healthy at 18, so I thought, I was enlightened. And so that kind of brought me down the path that I'm going to bring all of you down, my journey and going down that rabbit hole. But what that is it's an awakening. It's realizing if something's not going right in your life, it's because of the track record or whatever you're doing. So eating a burger or eating pasta or even a Spam sandwich like I did growing up, it's not going to kill you then. When it happens and hits you, if I didn't learn what I learned back then, and I've been studying, now I'm 52. So that was many, many years ago. I've been down the road of, I'm going to be a vegetarian. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And you learn and you learn and you learn. And so there's no real amazing diet out there. You can even look at the meta-analysis on how long somebody would live. And the real thing that makes a difference is consistency and not overdoing one thing. A lot of the fads that are out there, they just drive home one thing. And one thing actually isn't good for everybody all the time. And it's sometimes not good in the large amounts people want to do it in. So I'll give you an example. Coconut oil will be like a phase, and then everything's coconut oil, or apple cider vinegar. And there's nothing wrong with these, but then they just jump on this bandwagon and they're having apple cider vinegar 20 times a day. That may not be good for everybody's gut. So we have our own microbiome in the gut, which is not only just what you take in, it's also, as far as food, it's also what you're breathing in, it's everything. And there are actually new studies now, which I think you guys will be blown away at this with all the talk that's been going on in the last, year or so, that we have a virus, good viruses, many, which will blow your mind. And look up your virome. So there's microbiome, which is all of your bacteria, your good bacteria. But there's also viruses in there that actually work for us. And that's kind of mind-blowing new research. And where I'm going with that is that the gut is so, so dramatically important. And the only way to affect your gut is every single day, what you've been doing forever. So you're gonna eat something, you're gonna drink something, and you do that minimum 3 times a day, most people. Some people do it 5 times a day, some people do it a little less. But it's the one thing that you can control. So what you're putting in your mouth and then what it's going to do for the body. And as a society, all over the world, we're eating far too much cooked and processed food. And that's one of the heaviest burdens on the body. It affects the bacteria in the body, because if you're eating, I'll give you an example, lots of sugars, you're feeding your bad bacteria. If you're eating lots of good fibrous things, you're feeding your good bacteria. So we are directly affecting the bacteria, the microbiome, which affects the viruses in there, because a lot of the viruses actually attack some of the bad guys. So it works in this beautiful synergy that we really mess up when we do the wrong thing for too long. So it's not about doing it once. It's not about having one alcoholic beverage or one burger or one burrito or one slice of pizza. It's about doing it consistently. And a gentleman that was up here earlier, he's like, well, when you're driving around and you see the bright lights and you want this and you want that, he's like, how do you resist that? So I'm going to tell you how you resist that. The only way to resist all the bad, I call it naughty foods, there's only one way to resist it, and that's education. Once you know and that light bulb goes on, you will look at your food every day a little different and say, am I giving to my body or am I taking away? Am I adding to my bank account or am I taking away from that bank account? So it's really, really important that we're mindful when we're eating. But when we decide to have the naughty foods or even a good cooked food, so a good cooked food that has lost its enzyme potential is anything that's been heated over 115, 16, 18, that's all debatable about the temperature. That's when the enzyme activity is denatured. And an enzyme is the life force of a food. And life gives life. When you eat fresh, living, alive food, it gives you more life. There's a whole anti-aging component to what I'm teaching you. So what I've been teaching for years is eat more raw food, eat more raw food. And what do I make? I make enzymes that help you eat cooked food. So I'm teaching people how to take less of a product that I actually make. And most people, especially family members and stuff, or whoever it is, they'll laugh at me and go, wait a minute, did you say I can't have my pizza and beer? Because I'll take 2 bottles of that just so I can still have that. So I actually, even though I'm educating everyone, they tend to go with the enzyme route because they don't want to change their diet too much. But I do encourage you to eat more raw food. I would say a nice goal is 50%, which would be mind-blowing because most of the US does hardly any raw food in a day, maybe lucky to eat an apple in a day. But I want you to mentally understand. So education is the key. I told you that's how you change. It's education. So I'm going to educate you right now on every single meal you eat. Just look at the plate and say, is 50% of it raw? It's super, super simple. You don't have to, think about anything, whether there's, whatever on your plate. You just say, okay, I want some eggs. Great. There's some eggs. And then on the other side, it's sliced tomatoes. That's 50-50, just so you guys can grasp it. And if you're doing like a little bit of salmon and a little bit of brown rice, on the other side of the plate is a huge salad. So I want you guys to understand that's what 50% raw is. And then what you do is you'll take this plant-based enzyme at the beginning of the meal for the cooked side of your plate to make sure that the body is getting every nutrient it can from the food that you just ate. Enzymes cannot put back in nutrients to the food. They can only help you extract the nutrients that are in the food. So if you're eating a donut, which is void of many nutrients, probably doesn't have hardly any nutrients, you're only going to be able to extract what's in that food. So you can still become very nutrient deficient if you're still making poor choices with your food. But there will be side effects of weight loss. You heard somebody up here talking about that. You heard Greg mention, eyesight. You'll hear a lot of that because it's creating cleaner blood. And we'll go into that a little more later, but that's why you'll hear a variety of random testimonials from one product.
I get a turn?
For a minute.
Okay, so I want you to, I think back to when I was first hearing all of this, and I want you to kind of understand some basic, simple things to help you understand what she's saying. This is raw. It was. The good news is, I know what I was eating because I went and purchased it at Sprouts. If your apple doesn't do this, turn brown, probably want a new apple. That's just more fake food. Okay? An apple isn't supposed to look perfectly red and shaped and blah, blah, blah on the shelf, right? When I bite this apple, the air should hit it, it should start breaking itself down. Okay, if I put a banana on the counter and I leave it there for too long, it's going to turn probably dark, and then it's going to get soft, and then it's going to ooze out of the sides. That's the enzyme activity. It's starting to consume itself in a way, right? It's breaking down. What Ty has there is just, we like to do this demonstration of an example of something that's processed. Okay, it's nasty.
Yeah.
Not judging you if you eat puddings.
It's pudding.
It's just pudding. Okay.
And
And no matter how hard she stirs it, it's still going to be just thick and sticky.
Stir it all day. And I say, do you want this cooked food just sitting clumped in your gut or on your butt? That's what I say. Or do you want to process it and actually utilize the nutrients that are in it? So just picture that when you're eating a cooked food, sitting on your thigh. If you don't process it. Hey, I got lucky that way more.
Man, you're nasty. All right.
She's not.
She's naughty. All right. Okay, so here. No, dude, you can't do everything. Give me that. You cannot.
Do everything.
Yes, you can. Set your pudding down.
Put down here.
I almost
Make sure they know we're
did something naughty.
Magic trick.
I almost just put the microphone between my legs and held it so I could do the thing.
You're
Oh
all
my gosh, I've never done that.
I'll hold it.
This one microphone thing's really a curveball. Okay, you take
You
that.
love it because then I can't talk.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna break this little veggie capsule. I'm gonna open it up just to show you how this works. Don't put that.
Yeah, just so everyone can see. So all he's doing is twisting open the capsule. A capsule is just a delivery method. The contents inside is what you want. So you're looking for a drink.
know they're on. Okay.
So I highly encourage everyone to do this. We've done talks like this where we've given out a pudding cup to everyone in the audience and then a capsule so that they could see it for themselves so they didn't think we were doing anything crazy. So I highly encourage you to do this for your friends and family to teach them what digesting their food truly looks like so they can absorb all the nutrients from it.
I just spilled most of it. We're gonna see if it still works. Look, it's all over my hand.
Okay.
The rim.
No, it'll work.
It'll work, man.
It's already bubbling. So you can actually, as it sits out, you'll see it just kind of working its magic. The warmth of the food and then the moisture of the food wakes them up. And then they start going to town. So it is. So if it sits out for a while, you'll actually see it getting more and more liquefied. So it becomes like a pre-digested food. So, and that's how you want your burgers or whatever you're eating, even if it's something super healthy, you want to process it. And we do like using chocolate pudding, but this is not about running to the bathroom. An enzyme is not a laxative, let me tell you, and nor do you want it to be. You don't want to use laxatives. It's harsh on the body. You want to get what you need from your food and then get energy. That's the whole reason we eat, is to extract the nutrients. So a protein, a carb, and a fat. So all the food has protein, carbs, and fats. So you want to make sure you have all the enzymes that are going to process those macronutrients, those larger molecules, into something the body can utilize.
That was nasty. Delicious. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. the first time I saw that. I'm like, what is she talking about? I don't know anyone who takes this. My parents didn't. My grandparents didn't. And I just didn't get it. I understood more when I saw that pudding breakdown. But I want you to understand, here's the deal. The mystery about all of this is that we have our pancreas with our enzymes. I'm gonna leave things out to simplify. We have this little bank account of enzymes. The mystery is we don't know what we started with when we were born. And that kind of goes back to our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, okay? But here's what went wrong, terribly wrong. After World War II in the US, the food changed, okay? Canned food, TV dinners, and then we got the microwave, then we got fast food. And our whole way of life changed. Now it's caught up to us. So that issue that I had with my hands in my mid-30s or whatever it was, that used to be something that you would hear about people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s with, okay? Well, guess what? Now it's 7 and 8-year-olds, okay? You're starting to understand the picture here. We're starting out life very deficient. And what we do is we tap out our little enzyme bank account because we have enzymes for every specific food group, proteins, carbs, fats, sugars, all these things. The most common one, what Tylene had shared with me years ago was, Sean, do you know anyone that lactose intolerant? I'm like, yeah, one of my daughters has that issue sometimes. She says, that just means she ran out of lactase, that's all. Her body no longer can break milk sugars down completely, just like your body, Sean, no longer can break down proteins completely. I'm like, that's it? She goes, that's it. That's what this is. So we have these different enzymes that we start to lose over time, but maybe you lose them very young, or you eat a certain way all the time, and you're tapping out. Like she used to call me a protein monster, right? Played sports, not a very big guy, was always eating and taking protein, working out, trying to be average while everyone else was getting huge. But even on my little framed body, I got up to about 186 pounds playing college football because I was just trying to compete. And my body couldn't handle it. I think I overdid it. I think that's what really caused me to become deficient, breaking my protein down at a young age. That's just my own little philosophy. Well, we all have different things and different lifestyles, how we eat, if we're active, if we're not active, and so on and so forth. So the whole thing is, what do we have in our bank account of these enzymes? And when I eat this, my body just says, I got this. I don't even need any enzymes, it's already there. There's no pressure on the body. My body will just take the nutrients. When I cook it, make apple pie, now it's dead. Now my body doesn't know what to do with it. Does that simplify it for you? That's it. So the average American probably eats about 5% fresh and living food. It's not very good. Eileen's saying 50-50 would be amazing. Nicole's sitting over there, and we know others, and we've done it. If you went raw for a month or two, people wouldn't even recognize you. They wouldn't even know who you were. Your body would completely change.
It affects everything though. Hair, skin, nails.
All of it.
Everything. You're just feeding the body and flooding the body with nutrients and phytonutrients. Everything.
So that's what this is about. So we want to be as preventative as we can. We're not going to eat perfect. We always say that, don't label us, we're not perfect. But most of the time we eat pretty dang good. Last night in this place, I didn't eat pretty dang good. But I only ate a little bit. I couldn't even eat it.
So then I had to help them finish it, and I didn't want any of it.
Oh.
It was so good.
See?
It was all like my need.
We did take a lot of enzymes. So the product that we're referring to right now is an enzyme probiotic product in one. Because as Ty was mentioning, the probiotics friendly gut bacteria. That's not an enzyme. Enzymes are breaking down what you're consuming. They're unlocking the nutrients, as Ty was talking about. So I think it'd be super cool if you talked a little bit about, unless you don't want to, like our blood.
That's my favorite topic. I'm a vampire now. No, where he's going with that is kind of where I had ended, which is about when I was saying it's going to create more oxygen and clean the blood. So there's a couple ways to take enzymes. You can take them with your food. You can also take them away from food. And they're smart, but yet they're not smart. They're only going to go after what is right there. So if you just ate and you take an enzyme that has, so enzymes, I'll give you just 3 of them so I don't overwhelm you, but lipase would digest fats, okay? And then proteolytic means protein splitting. So proteolytic enzymes are gonna process and digest proteins. You actually need a couple different enzymes to digest protein all the way down to an amino acid. So in Sean's case, when he explained what he had when I had met him, that was the inability to digest proteins all the way down. So sometimes the pancreas is still kind of working and spitting out some enzymes, but it's not completing the task. So it never makes it to an amino acid, which is how you're going to make all of your neurotransmitters to feed your brain. The amino acids are going to feed your muscles. So if you're trying to work out and you're not gaining mass like you need to, you may not be processing the proteins down to the true structure that the body needs for building blocks. So the lipase is for fats. It's going to break your fats down to a fatty acid. And then the proteolytic enzymes are going to break your proteins down to amino acids. And then all of the amylase is going to digest all of your carbohydrates. And so all the lovely food that we love to eat, you need that. And it's made in your saliva. So as you start eating, you take your time. That's why they always say, chew your food really well, because that's where the digestion process starts. Problem is we're very fast eaters. We're always on the go. Most people are eating standing up in their car, running around with kids, whatever it is. So we're not even being mindful of just regular digestion of even chewing our food. So enzymes are dramatically needed at this stage. So that's enzymes you're going to take with your food, is going to process the food you're eating right then and there. If you take those same enzymes, the same enzymes we're talking about, take them away from food. You could take them before bed, which is the best time. You shouldn't have eaten, I'd say, 3 hours before you go to bed anyway. Because if you're a late night eater and then you lay back on the couch or in a chair, you will create acid reflux. Okay, so you really want to be aware of when you're eating late at night to try to not do that in general. And then, so you'll have an empty stomach and you'll take, it just depends what's going on with you. If nothing's going on with you, just take 1 every night before bed for maintenance to kind of go in and help clean up the blood. What that enzyme is going to do is it's going to look for rogue proteins, things that shouldn't be in the bloodstream, things that should have gotten digested when you ate, but might have seeped through the intestinal wall. So you guys have heard of colitis, diverticulitis, all those issues, and everything to do with the colon. What happens is the permeability, you start having food that sneaks through the intestinal tract. And I want to tell you, and it goes into the bloodstream. I want to tell you an example of why that's so detrimental. So if you have your appendix and it's all inflamed and it's getting ready to burst, what do? Nurses should know this. They're going to bring you where? To the hospital immediately. They're going to rush you there because you're at risk for, if it bursts, for toxemia. So toxins, toxemia, you're highly toxic. That means whatever was in that little tail, okay, that little appendix, it's so tiny too. It was so inflamed and so filled with debris that had gone rancid and putrefied that you are at risk for dying. Like, that's mind-blowing. When I was studying this stuff, I'm like, that's mind-blowing. So that's how toxic our food can become when it sits. And so I want you to understand, when little pockets in the intestinal tract, when stuff seeps through there and gets into the bloodstream, that is debris that I can then see if I was to stick your finger, put it under the blood under a microscope and actually look at it and watch it. I can see excess debris in the blood. Your fats should be digested within like 4 hours. You shouldn't see chylous material, which is little bits of fat still floating around. That should be gone. So especially if I look at your blood in the morning and you've been fasting and I still see fats from the night before, I'll go, what did you eat? And they ate something really fatty. Well, that's going to be hard on the liver. So now think of all the issues with liver. Think of the gallbladder. That's all fat related. Okay, so I want you to be thinking of any issue that could be related to not processing your fats all the way down to where they can get utilized. And I mean, I can go on and on. I can literally do a full seminar on probably just each thing. So, but protein, same thing. What happens when that uric acid floats around in the blood? What it looks like to me when I look at it in the microscope is broken glass. And if anyone's ever had like gout or something like that, when you get out of bed, it feels like you're walking on broken glass. The reason for that is that's what it looks like in your blood. It looks like these crystals of glass, very uncomfortable. So something so simple, if you have this excess debris in your blood, is to let the enzymes work their magic while you're sleeping. You're always healing when you're sleeping. So sleep is so, so important. Good water and sleep, good water and sleep, because the solution to pollution is dilution. So if you're eating a bunch of poo, you need to make sure you're drinking enough water, flushing it all out, and healing the body. So a little bit of enzyme maintenance at night or in between breakfast and lunch and dinner. Just make sure it's at least like an hour away from your food. We don't go anywhere without enzymes. We have them in our pockets. We have them in our, well, we both have purses actually. He has a man bag. So we keep them in our purses too. But
Get out of here. Sit over there.
he tried to steal my bracelet before we came up because it matched his shirt. I'm serious, look at this. I said, I don't think it'll fit. I'm giving all your secrets away.
You're brutal, man. Anyway. All right. We need to keep it simple.
That was so simple.
Very simple. Because we don't want you to leave here just overwhelmed, and we don't want you to think you can't do it, but yet we want you to know how important this is. I haven't eaten anything heated, cooked, or processed in about 20 years without the enzyme. That's what we're telling you to do. You want to prevent having these issues that pop up. At some point, they're going to rear its head. And you, this is tough love, I guess. You could have prevented it. All you had to do was take a tiny little capsule before you ate those heated, cooked, or processed meals. And if you don't, shame on you. Because you have one body and one temple. So shame on you. Once you know, you can't unlearn the truth. This is tens of thousands of people would share this with you of what they've experienced. We don't teach weight loss. There's nothing wrong with weight loss. Weight loss is an absolute side effect of what we do. It's an absolute, I didn't try to be a friggin' 29 or whatever you said I was. It's embarrassing. I had to get my ego out of the way. I really had to get my ego out of the way because I was used to being bigger. And in the last time, about 5 years ago, I tore this rotator. This one like 30 years ago, surgery. I'm like, I'm not getting surgery again. I tore this one about 5, 6 years ago. I'm like, not this time. So I just started really making sure
Yeah, but you're strong. I kind of want to make him do some push-ups right now.
get out.
Yes, encourage him
No.
to do some push-ups. Yes, do it. I want you to realize that you can be thin, but be super strong. Do it. Do it. You wanted a workout today. Come on, push-ups, do it. I want you to do it right now. Come on, do it. Hurry up, come on, I am serious. Okay, let's go. Yeah, get it. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, it's about strength. Hey, baby, how old are you going to be in May?
11. You need to sit down, man. Get up there. No.
It's about strength.
It is about strength.
Yeah, and living a long time, and not being hooked up to machines.
It's about feeling 100%.
Right.
Honestly, so I'll be 57 this month. I feel 100%. I did not feel 100% in my 30s. Do you remember what it feels like to be the best version of yourself? If you feel 10%, then let's get you to 20. It's not about being perfect. And that was weird, making me do push-ups and stuff.
Turn me on.
Oh my God. See what I deal with? This is every day. You guys, this is not an act. This is our life. Just come hang out.
Once your girls sign up now, we're gonna know what.
Oh yeah. You really need to go over there, man. Come over here somewhere. This is simple, you guys. It breaks our heart. We keep hearing these stories of issues that could have been prevented. We're not cars. We love medicine and doctors and Western medicine. Western medicine has gotten so far advanced. Everyone is so specialized, right? Foot doctor, you got a brain doc, and you got a this doc and that doc, and all these things. And most of the time, they don't talk together. You go to a specific doc, and he's going to have you do this because that's what he's an expert in. The body works all together. And then they just want to rip out. Let's just rip out that gallbladder. Let's rip that out, right? You don't need that anymore. Oh, what? I'm not a car. You don't just rip out parts. At least with cars, you pull out air. They put new parts in. You take some of these parts out of our body, they were there for a reason. And now they're just gone? That's not the solution. You guys, wake up. This is not hard. Wake up. If you love people, if you care about people, you can change their lives. And it's not just about taking this enzyme. Obviously, eat healthier food. And you can't eat perfect, we get that. But you do have to be mindful when you're eating. What am I consuming? If we worked with cancer facilities or things in patients in other countries, the very first thing they do is they flood the body with raw nutrients to take all the pressure off the body. So why shouldn't we do that? People always say, Sean, how do you lose weight? I'm like, I'm not trying to lose weight. I eat. There are no rules. There's no such thing as breakfast, lunch, and dinner to me. I don't even know what that is and where it came from. Who makes these rules, man? We have to stop being sheeple and doing what everyone's doing that we think is supposed to be normal. It's not normal. That's why we're jacked up. We're the sickest generation this country's ever seen. We've been teaching this for a long time, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. All these different things affect our health. All these chemicals, all this. If we forgot to bring something to the hotel, I'm like, man, really? I got to put that conditioner on my hair or use that soap? Those are endocrine disruptors, man. Those are chemicals. They mess with your thyroid, your sexual health, everything. I wonder if we got reproductive issues out there. You can't keep putting chemicals in our food, into our body, on our skin, in our personal care, our household cleaning products. It's all chemicals, man. You have to wake up to this stuff. Be aware and make little changes. Ladies, I love you, but most makeup is so toxic, you have no idea what it does to the body. Get a cleaner version of makeup. Guys, ladies just take care of themselves typically better than most guys. And so they have more chemicals every day when they start their day, when they leave the home. But guys, we're no different. I mean, shaving cream, cologne, come on, man, don't put any cologne on. Go get some kind of essential oil or something. Why would you hurt your own body? Why wouldn't you love yourself? And then why would you hurt your kids? Only if you didn't know. And this is what we want you to know. This is a lifestyle, man. This is not difficult. This is common sense. This is what we should be doing. The enzyme is a part of it because we're all going to eat cooked food. We're not raw foodists in here. It's not fun. We've been there. We've done it. That doesn't mean we don't try to eat 80% raw every day. That's our goal. Okay, so little simple steps will take you there. Just meet people wherever they are. Don't throw up all this information on people. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to think you're weird. Just start them with the little enzyme and be more aware. Be the example of what you're eating with people all the time. Just be that example to your spouse or to your kids or to your relatives. Just one little thing at a time, and this is not complicated. That's what frustrates me so much, is this is so simple. It is so simple, and we just keep getting sicker, and it's sad. So we'll go away with that. I have no idea how long we've been rambling up here. Is there anything you want to add to this? No, you just keep making fun of me.
I never even finished the River of Life.
Well, do that, man. I don't even know. You want to finish the River of Life real quick?
I never even said.
Wait, before you make fun of me.
I don't make fun of you. I compliment
I'll give you an example. By the way, we love all our doctors. This isn't a medical thing. This is an information thing.
Well, they also don't get a lot of.
No, they don't get a lot of the nutrition training. But what happens if your blood gets thick and sticky and they put you on a
blood thinner?
This is what I'm not tithing to talk about, and then your blood flows better, but the blood's still dirty. It's thinner, right? So when Ty Lee was describing cleaning the blood, taking enzymes away from food, your blood starts to get cleaned, and then it naturally flows better. And now if your red blood cells traveling from your big toe to your brain or whatever in a minute or whatever it takes to deliver nutrients to the brain, do we have brain issues now? Yes or no? I mean, like ADD, ADHD, ABCD, EFG. I mean, all this stuff, everything. Depression, anxiety. Now more than ever, it's goofy. Well, have you ever thought that if don't have enough good friendly gut bacteria, you're not creating good vitamin B to feed the brain? And then did you also understand that if your food's not breaking down, even if you're eating good, there's no nutrients being delivered to the brain? Duh, of course we're going to have brain issues. This isn't hard. This is not complicated. So that's a really, really important thing when we talk about blood being the river of life. You know, as Ty says, you know, to just close out with like debris or a river or a creek or something like that. I'm going to say that.
I'll make it really fast because I forgot Dr. Tim's talking. We're just chatting up here like we got nothing else to do for the rest of the day. I don't know. I'm just excited to be out of the house. I don't know about you guys. When I'm at home, I got like 1 million animals all yelling my name. Literally, I think they know my name now. They're all spoiled. But no, so real quick, it's about oxygen. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, I heard somebody. It's so funny. My son's in the back. Say hi, James. That's my son, James. So he's never been on any medication ever. And he's pretty diligent about actually listening to me. That's why I brought him. My younger son, who doesn't listen to me at all, I left him at home with all the animals. So that's perfect. We all have one of those. So I feel your pain when your family members don't listen to you perfectly. You can message me. I know what that's like. But no, it's about oxygen. So when you're taking the enzymes on an empty stomach, it's going to go in and get rid of debris. I don't have enough time to teach you what all that debris is, but I will tell you the debris that's in there, they all like each other. They start hanging out. All the bad guys like to hang out. When I look at it in your blood, I call them bacteria hotels of bad bacteria and yeast and funguses and things that like to hang out together in the bloodstream, which creates blockages. And maybe not complete blockages where a vein or an artery is totally blocked, but little bits of debris within the bloodstream that's like a regular river if there was logs in the way. So when you're trying to bring your little canoe or your boat through that river, it's not making it because there's all this debris in the way. So it's going to go slow. And once you remove that debris, in a real river, you're going to be able to move the boat through the river. The other thing is the pockets off to the side of a real river. It's clean and moving. Whereas if you find a river that has pockets of water that has sat still and stagnant, you'll start getting the mosquitoes and the bad algae and all the bad stuff. It's the same water that's always been there, just like the water and the river of life in our body, same thing that's been there since you were born. The problem is once there's so much debris in our own body, it does the same thing. It lies there stagnant, creates stagnancy. And what that does is create those bacteria hotels, and it allows disease to flourish. It gives it the perfect opportunity for you to be a really good host. And so when you start cleaning up the blood and the enzymes go and bump into things, certain substrates that are in the blood that it doesn't recognize, it's like, hey, you gotta get out of here. You're a rogue protein or something. It will then get rid of that. And then now your red blood cells, the little boats that need to deliver packages, they can move, and that creates that more energy and better sleep and oxygen. And that's a big thing. It's a big thing for athletes and everyone. But I definitely want to give a warm welcome to Dr. Tim Harrigan, because I'll keep talking. But